Hello, I'm Joe Rozak, a proud member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. We are gathering the candidates that will appear on your primary ballot on August 4th and asking them 3 questions. Let's get to know Sarah Blossom. Sarah, please take 90 seconds to introduce yourself and why you chose to step up to running for the office of Bainbridge Island City Council District 3.
I am a lifelong Bainbridge Islander and have previously served 2 terms on the City Council. I started in 2012 and served through 2019. After my second term ended, I applied for and was appointed to the Planning Commission and have served on the Planning Commission for the last 5 years. Since I left Council, I've continued to closely follow everything that's going on at the City Hall. Watching City Council meetings is my Tuesday night ritual. And over the last several years, I've seen some changes that trouble me. I found myself thinking about where I would want to live if I ever decided it was time to leave, and that was not a good feeling. And so I decided I would use my experience and my knowledge to jump back in and try to fix what I thought wasn't working. What it boils down to for me is that when I watch council meetings, I sometimes feel like I'm watching a city council that is working for the city manager and not the other way around. The city council is a representative body elected by the people to reflect the community's values, set policy direction, and make decisions on behalf of Bainbridge Island residents. The distinction between governance and administration has become increasingly blurred, and I think it is essential that the city council and not staff leads on policy.
Thank you, Sarah. So now for our first question. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges the Bainbridge Island City Council faces, and specifically, how will you address the issues?
The city of Bainbridge Island is facing several challenges right now: affordable housing, aging infrastructure, an inadequate non-motorized transportation network, and of course, water resource management. But I think the biggest challenge is that and it will continue to face this challenge, touches on all of those concerns, and that is this continuing trend of the state legislature to impose new rules on local jurisdictions regarding land use, housing, and development, things that have historically been subject to local control. I think a lot of people are unaware that the whole island was designated as an urban growth area under the Growth Management Act when we became an all-island city. And so we are treated just like any other city, but we are in fact not like most other cities. We could be more appropriately characterized as a small county with a relatively small population. We have a natural boundary, which is our shoreline. We can't annex additional land to create more capacity like other cities can. So what has and will continue to be an issue is that we will have to fight or find ways to comply with kind of one-size-fits-all regulations that the state has created that could be very difficult to implement here because they're designed with an eye towards a typical city, which we are not.
Thank you, Sarah. So on to question 2. Please describe how you envision community engagement with your direct constituents of the South Ward, as well as the rest of the island citizens.
I like to engage with people face to face and have a conversation. So I would like to see the city go back to its previous practice of holding quarterly ward meetings. Right now, the public has a very limited opportunity to give public comment at council meetings, but it's only taken at business meetings, and you only get 3 minutes, and there's no response allowed. And that can be, I think, really unsatisfying for a person making the comment or asking a question, and also for council members who may want to respond but aren't able to in that setting. Ward meetings are completely different. It's more relaxed. We go to the people at a location in the ward. The people who attend get to choose which topics will be discussed, and the council members that attend the meetings are able to respond and have some back and forth. Another practice that some council members have that I would follow is to hold office hours. These are not held in an actual office, but are held at places like coffee shops or upstairs at Town and Country. The idea is to be present at a regular location on a regular day and time where anybody who wishes to can come and have a conversation with their council member.
Thank you. And finally, question 3. What policy or policies will you support to ensure sufficient water supply now and into the future?
Priority number 1 is to finish the groundwater management plan and to do so in a way that the public has a high degree of confidence in it. That piece to me is really important. It needs to be a plan that the public can accept and support. The groundwater management plan will provide essential data for the city to be able to demonstrate what our carrying capacity is, because at some point the city may have to request alternative treatment under the Growth Management Act as far as population allocation and our comprehensive planning goes. Beyond the groundwater management plan and our understanding of carrying capacity, there's also water in and water out. Water out, the city and other water purveyors have very little control over water consumption. The primary stick they have is a tiered water rate, so it costs more to use more. However, that only works for those on water systems, and Bainbridge has around 1,400 wells, and most of them are private or small community systems. So we will primarily have to rely on education and people's goodwill and good sense to encourage conservation. Water in, the city needs to consider what it can do to at least maintain groundwater recharge that we have. We have regulations regarding stormwater that assist in water quality and recharge rates, but the city could do more with a development right transfer program that will help with preservation efforts that will positively impact aquifer recharge rates.
Thank you to Sarah Blossom. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap, thank you for watching, and please share this video. The League of Women Voters of Kitsap does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and the issues before you, the voters. I'm Joe Rozak. Don't forget to vote on August 5th. Hello, I'm Joe Rozak, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and issues before the voters. We are interviewing the candidates that will appear on your primary ballot, which you should receive in the mail around mid-July. We are asking them 3 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. So let's get to know Mike Nelson. Mike, please take about 90 seconds to introduce yourself and tell us why you chose to run for the office of Bainbridge Island City Council District 3.
Hello, Joe. My name is Mike Nelson, and I'm running for Bainbridge Island City Council. I'm a 4th-generation Washingtonian, and I'm running to make sure that the beauty and special character of Bainbridge Island that exists now will still be here for my children. I'm running because I oppose the current City Council's plan to massively upzone Winslow and the surrounding area. To put it in perspective, we are to plan for population growth of about 18% over the next 20 years, but the current plan is pushing for about 45%. I think this plan will destroy the special character of the island, strain existing infrastructure, cause congestion, and increase taxes, all without meaningfully addressing housing affordability. Regarding infrastructure, I'm particularly concerned about whether we have enough water, the sewer system, which is tapped out, and the roads, which were not designed for this level of growth. I'm concerned about increased congestion and increased greenhouse gas emissions. I'm concerned about needed infrastructure upgrades leading to significant tax increases. And I'm concerned that this plan will not meaningfully address housing affordability. The plan will lead to at most 5% of units being affordable, and the rest will be market rate units. And studies have shown that adding this dense market rate housing does not meaningfully improve affordability. As far as my background and experience, 3 things. I'm an attorney. This is a position making laws, so I think that that's helpful. I've spent my career in public service as a state employee, and I'm a concerned citizen.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now for our first question. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges Bainbridge Island City Council faces, and specifically, how will you address these issues?
Yeah, I think the most significant challenges are around planning for growth and then the issues of housing affordability. On planning for growth, I would first say that I don't think the debate should be whether you're for or against growth. I think it should be whether you're for responsibly planning for growth, and that's what I'm for. Again, as I said, we're to plan for 18% growth over the next 20 years. But according to the city's draft environmental impact statement, we can actually accommodate that level of growth without any changes to our current zoning. So I don't support changes to our current zoning. I think it's also important to note that the Growth Management Act isn't just about growth. There are actually 15 different goals listed in the statute. One of those goals is protection of the environment, which includes the availability of water. So while we're required to plan for growth, that's only one piece of the puzzle, Joe. My approach would be to slow down this comprehensive planning process until we have the full picture as far as our water supply. Then, assuming we have enough water, I would advocate for a comprehensive plan that plans for 18% growth, the growth we've been allocated, without changing our zoning. And then real quick on housing affordability, as I mentioned, the current plan will not meaningfully address housing affordability. The Planning Commission's own consultant said that if we want to build any meaningful amount of affordable housing, we need to do it ourselves. So we need to do more like the projects at the old police station. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. So on to question 2. Please describe how you envision community engagement with your direct constituents in the South Ward, as well as the rest of the island citizens.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple questions there. There's sort of the when and the where, and then there's the how. First, I think about the when and the where. My plan would be to have regular listening sessions at local businesses. I recently did this at Marketplace for my campaign, and I just thought it was this great opportunity to connect with members of the community, to talk to them, to listen to them, and to really get a sense of what matters to them. And I just think that having those sorts of regular check-ins with members of the community on kind of a one-on-one basis, I just don't think that can be replaced. So that's what I would do there. There's also the how, and I think this is also important. I think always respectful, right? I think we as a society, we need to learn to be able to disagree without being disagreeable, right? I think being able to listen in a non-judgmental way, right? Being open-minded, having open-mindedness. I think transparency is key. I think the only way the people will have trust in their government is if their government's transparent about what they're doing and why they're doing it. I think we always need to be solutions-oriented. We can't forget that we're here to solve problems. And then finally, I think being responsive. I think you got to respond to members of the community when they reach out with a question or a concern, right? We're here to serve the people.
Okay, thank you. So one final question, Mike. What policy or policies will you support to ensure sufficient water supply now and into the future?
As I drink water. Bainbridge Island is designated as a sole source aquifer and gets all of its drinking water from groundwater. This means that we have a limited and increasingly stressed water supply. I think the most important thing regarding water will be to listen to the experts, to understand what the real situation is. And again, I would slow down this entire comprehensive plan process until we have a full picture of the water situation. I think in order to responsibly plan for growth, we need to know how much water we have so that we can understand how much growth we can actually sustain. So there are a number of things in the first draft of the city's groundwater management plan that I found concerning. I'm going to highlight one quote. It said, "The predicted groundwater level changes over a 100-year time frame do not meet the definition of sustainable yield due to measurable annual declines." I think we need to look into that a little bit more. But instead of taking a prudent approach, the current city council wants to put in place a plan of maximum growth without first addressing the water issue. And I think that's putting the cart before the horse. And then there's one other thing that's concerning me, which is the city council appears to be trying to gut the Environmental Technical Advisory Board, or ETAC. ETAC has been providing technical expertise and advice on the groundwater management plan. There are 8 positions, yet only 4 are filled. And right now, the city council is trying to push through a rule targeting one couple on that, trying to basically saying that no more than one person from the same household can serve on that committee. And it seems to be targeting these two people in particular. And I'll leave it right there.
All right, thank you. So thanks to you, Mike Nelson, for running for office and sharing your views with us today. I'm Joe Rozak. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap, thanks for watching, and please share this video. Don't forget to return your ballot by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th.
Thank you, Joe.
Hello, I'm Joe Rozak, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and the issues before the voters. We are interviewing the candidates who will appear on your primary ballot, which you should receive in the mail about mid-July. We are asking them 3 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Let's get to know Dawn Janow. Dawn, please take 90 seconds to introduce yourself and tell us why you chose to run for the office of Bainbridge Island City Council District 3.
Great. Thank you, Joe. I'm Dawn Janow, and I'm running for Bainbridge Island City Council District 3 to help ensure our community remains vibrant, inclusive, and resilient. As an island resident for over 20 years, I've dedicated myself to public service across arts, schools, youth sports, and most recently as a Bainbridge Island Parks Commissioner. This breadth of community leadership experience uniquely equips me to bring together multiple agencies and points of view to address housing, transportation, water, and environmental stewardship. As a park commissioner, I led the acquisition of the Burke Recreation Center without raising taxes, launched our National Natural Resources Department to embed environmental planning into every project, and serve on the leadership team for our current comprehensive plan. I've directed park policy to advance land acquisitions, conservation, trail building, equity and programming, access, and more. And I was instrumental in bringing Pia the Peacekeeper, our local troll, to Bainbridge. Statewide, I serve on the No Child Left Inside Advisory Committee, working to connect underserved youth. What sets me apart is my ability to connect people, align agencies, and keep bold projects moving. I see much opportunity for greater coordination between our local governmental agencies, so we are working toward the betterment of our community and not working in silos. I have the experience and ability to lead that effort. I bring thoughtful, creative, results-oriented, and collaborative leadership and a breadth of experience to meet today's challenges to build a bright future for Bainbridge.
Thank you, Dawn. So now for our first question. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges the Bainbridge Island City Council faces, and specifically, how will you address the issues?
From my perspective, Bainbridge Island's most pressing challenges are affordability, transportation, accountability, and finding the balance between environmental responsibility and social equity. These issues aren't separate for me. They're interconnected, and our solutions must reflect that. Housing affordability isn't just about income brackets or density, it's about people. I want to support increasing the number of ADUs, expand our partnerships with the Housing Resources Board, and rethink affordability in terms of diverse lives and the needs that make our community vibrant, from teachers to small business owners. Limiting overdevelopment. It's time we center the conversation on housing that strengthens our social fabric and maintains Bainbridge's unique personality. On transportation, I'll seek low-impact, high-return projects like a unified island-wide trail map to connect city, park, and public pathways, jumpstarting non-motorized transportation, and I'd reach out to WestDOT to address the growing strain of ferry traffic. Accountability matters, and I'll push for more transparency around major projects and better intergovernmental collaboration. Lastly, I see environmental responsibility and equity as inseparable. Managing incremental growth that respects and responds to our island character and environmental sensitivity. I'll support hiring dedicated staff to pace sustainability initiatives and ensure our environmental progress includes everyone. All of this, every initiative must be done while safeguarding affordability. I'm committed to budgeting and avoiding unnecessary tax increases that price people out.
Thank you. So on to question 2. Please describe how you envision community engagement with your district constituents in the South Ward, but as well as the rest of the island citizens.
Great. So community engagement isn't just a part of my platform, it is my platform. I believe in collaborative leadership, civic communication, and the power of bringing people together to tackle simple and complex challenges. If elected, I will hold monthly Ward 3 connection sessions, both in person and online, so my South Ward constituents always have a direct and accessible way to engage with me. I'll continue my weekly Connect with Dawn sessions down at the Linwood Marketplace and welcome everyone across the island. But true engagement for me means reaching beyond those familiar voices, and I'll seek out traditionally underrepresented and try and meet people where they are, because every perspective strengthens our shared vision for a bright future. I've kind of like earned the reputation over the decades on the island of being responsive and accessible. Calls, texts, emails, I'm always quick to reply, eager to listen, investigate what I might not have the answers to, and committed to follow through. And yes, I always have time for a coffee, or a walk. So lastly, but most importantly, I'll convene quarterly interagency workshops with elected officials across our different taxing agencies, city parks, fire, schools, and utilities. I'll also reach out to small businesses, nonprofit, service agencies, and emergency preparedness to ensure their concerns and perspectives are part of any city governance. We already have an incredible web of local organizations, and my focus will be on strengthening those connections, eliminating redundancy, and fostering collaboration.
Thank you. And one final question. What policy or policies will you support to ensure sufficient water supply now and into the future?
Yeah, great question. Water is just vital to Bainbridge Island today and for generations to come. My approach to water policy is rooted in action, collaboration, education, and long-term stewardship. I've been working on water access and infrastructure since 2007, when I initiated upgrading the drinking fountains at the Battle Point roller rink, and more recently, helped with the installation of 2 new water towers in GASM in partnership with KPUD and the Land Trust. I fully support the completion and, just as importantly, the implementation of the city's updated groundwater management plan. That's expected to be done in December. This plan should not be a one-time effort, however. We must commit to updating it regularly and coordinating to ensure its lasting impact. I propose creating a full-time city hydrogeologist position. This role would provide year-round data analysis, mapping, and scientific insight to help guide sustainable growth and sound planning decisions. This would be similar to the Natural Resources Director position I helped create at Parks, to reflect a long-term commitment to climate resilience and smart planning. I'll also advocate for expanding hydraulic monitoring on city-maintained sites, develop water conservation education programs, and empower folks to use stormwater and gray water effectively. A citizen monitoring program could also empower residents to be part of the solution, because water stewardship isn't just up to one entity, it's a shared responsibility. Working together, we can create a healthy future for Bainbridge.
Well, thank you to Dawn Janow for running for office and sharing your views. I'm Joe Rozak on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. Thanks for watching, and please share this video. Don't forget to return your ballot by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th. Thank you.